Oh, it's No Face Movements March the 27th, 2013. And I'm bringing updates and news on the situation going on here in Detroit. And we already know about Cyprus, and they're going crazy over there. There's bombs, people shooting. It's out of control over there, alright? Their economy has collapsed. Um, the American economy is heading worse too. Some people out there be prepared. Um, During our summer, we're going to see a rise in food prices just from the drought and from our economy. And there's a lot of stuff going on with our economy. But Detroit is one of the first cities. I'm not sure if you guys see it on the news, on the world news. But right now, Detroit's at a critical point. The federal government done took over the city of Detroit and got a financial emergency management. People ain't got the right to vote no more. They make all the decision. Doesn't matter what the mayor or the city council say, even though they're still getting paid. People yesterday protested on the guy named Orr. He's from a Cleveland firm. People protest outside his office because it's the truth. But they say that the federal government's going to start selling off um, treasures and land in the city of Detroit to to private corporations, the private people, and to other countries. It's already happened here in Michigan, where the Governor Rick Snyder sold some land to the Chinese. It's happening in Toledo. It's happening all over America. It's not just here in Detroit. Also, Kansas City's going down. Sacramento. I think Sacramento already got a financial emergency, but it's happening all over. All right. What happens when these federal takeover happens in a few months? We're going to start seeing Department of Homeland Security or army tanks rolling down our city streets. All right, there's probably gonna be curfews and stuff. That's how much power the financial manager have, and he's a federal financial manager. He's gonna sell off our land. They're gonna take all our money, take all our resources. So if you live in the city of Detroit, keep on protesting. Jesse Jackson came into town. He's protesting with us. Just be ready, folks. Um, we should have never a federal takeover our government. Let's get into this article. It's an old article, but you can stay up to date. Just type in Fox 2. I'm going to link at the bottom. And it's happening all over the world. Um, that's crazy. But let's get to liquidation.
From Detroit to Cyprus, banksters in search of prey. Either we liquidate the banksters or Wall Street will liquidate us.
It's happening all to us, folks.
From Nicosia, Cyprus to Detroit, Michigan, the global financial octopus is squeezing the life out of society, stripping away public and individual assets in a vain attempt to fend off its own inevitable collapse. The bankers' troika that effectively rules Europe prepares to reach into the individual accounts of ordinary depositors on the island nation of Cyprus to fund the bailout of their local banking brethren. Across the Atlantic, a corporate henchman makes arrangements to seize the assets and abolish the political rights of a black metropolis. The local colorations may vary, but the crisis is the same. Mass capital is devouring its social and natural environment. Either we liquidate the banksters or Wall Street will liquidate us.
It's crazy, folks. It's crazy.
The proposed seizure of a big chunk of every ordinary Cypriot depositor's accounts in the guise of a one-time tax was shocking even by the standards of the Eurozone's overlords, the International Monetary Fund, European Central Bank, and European Commission. The original diktat to finance new lines of credit for Cyprus' overextended banks called for snatching 6.75% of the cash of customers with balances below €100,000, or in American $129,500, and 9.9% above that threshold. When the public went berserk, it was proposed that depositors with €20,000 or less be spared, but Cypriot lawmakers balked. The banks are now closed to prevent people from withdrawing their own money, but Europe's ruling triumvirate of the bankers' lair in Brussels County continues to demand that the public at large pay to keep the global criminal financial enterprise humming. or be starved out. In the absence of this measure, Cyprus would have faced scenarios that would have left deposit holders significantly worse off, they said. Disaster banksterism. Or firms' clients have plenty of experience at liquidating in Detroit. A rapscallion black lawyer for the notorious corporate law firm Jones Day delivered the banksters' ultimatum to Detroit emergency financial manager Kevin Orr, anointed by Michigan's Republican governor, is a bankruptcy specialist whose mission is to liquidate the assets of the 82% black city, especially the revenue-producing water and sewerage department. Orr's firm's clients, which according to their website include more than half of the Fortune 500 companies, have plenty of experience at liquidating in Detroit. Butch Hollowell, general counsel for the local NAACP, says Wells Fargo has done more foreclosures in Detroit and the state of Michigan than any other firm.
That's very important.
And is Detroit's #1 property tax scuffle. Jones Day also represents Bank of America, J.P. Morgan Chase, and Citigroup. These are firms that not only got billions in TARP bailouts, but they're also the same ones that defrauded people into signing these predatory leases, which caused the crash of the housing market, said Hollowell. Detroit has been hit harder than any place in the country on that score, hugely aggravating the city's money problems. Financial manager Kevin Orr's job is to extract more booty from Detroit for the bankers' vaults.
Did I just say booty? Oh my god.
To facilitate the theft of the city's property, its citizens must first be stripped of their political and civil rights, which they are doing, through the neutering of their elected officials. Or looks forward to the project. While I understand there's a lot of concern and emotion behind the concept that I'm depriving people of certain rights, he said, actually is very consistent with both the history of this country and specifically in this state. What he's about to do is democracy in action. Financial manager Kevin Orr's job is to extract more booty from Detroit for the bankers' vaults. This corporate concept of democracy has already devalued the franchise of the 49% of Michigan's black population that live in municipalities and school districts under the thumb of outside financial managers, a violation of both the Voting Rights Act and the one man, one vote rule embodied in the 14th Amendment, says the NAACP's Hollowell. Black Baptist pastors and the AFSCME and UAW unions will join the NAACP's planned legal action against the hostile takeover of Detroit, which is fine as a civil rights response. But this is a much bigger battle. Detroit and the people of Cyprus share the same enemy, a class that is beyond the reach of simple civil rights suits. The lords of capital on Wall Street and the City of London and the Federal Reserve in Washington and in the Troika at Brussels confront their own existential crisis, which compels them to liquidate the public sector so that it can eventually be transferred to their own balance sheets. There are many ways to accomplish this, through privatization of existing public institutions or by simply blowing a hole in public services and allowing privateers to fill the void, subsidized by public funds. However, nothing can save the banksters from inevitable and increasingly imminent collapse. Ever-increasing profit margins must be achieved somehow, or the system implodes. Hundreds of trillions of notional dollars in derivatives must be serviced and fed by a class that makes nothing and can only survive by chicanery and coercion by governments under their control. In Cyprus, they are prepared to brazenly snatch euros directly from working and retired people's accounts to fund a bank bailout without even bothering to construct a convoluted pathway from the victims' accounts to their own. They have reached the point of outright confiscation and will not stop until they have stripped society of the potential to save itself from the ruins. We have no choice but to confiscate them, to destroy them utterly as a class.
That is crazy, folks, and that's the truth. That's what Kevin Orr, the financial emergency manager, pointed that is by the federal government is doing here in the city of Detroit. All right, like I told people back in November, don't vote for Proposal 1. It doesn't matter if you voted yes or no through proposal 2 through 10. If you vote yes, you gave all the power to the governor. The governor came in, don't care what the people said, and threw the federal manager here in Detroit. And this is what's going to happen to all our cities, folks. All right, the stocks may say one thing, but what they're doing is just buying everything for cheaper and cheaper price. So the stocks are going up, and our stocks are going to crash. We're just getting deeper and deeper in debt. Hopefully, it's no time soon. But once that happens, we will be in a world war. Because other countries are starving, we're starving, and they're liquidating everything. People, what do you think, Mystique?
Well, we reported on this prior to this, but this Detroit is an example of what's going on across the country, and actually not just limited to our country, but in countries across the world.
And this is the time to fight. This is the time, everyone. If you live in the city, Detroit, Cyprus, this is the time to fight.
Yes, this is the time to stand up because
And then take your city back, because it is against our amendments. It is against our constitutional right. This is basically a dictator,
and it's
and
not the government that represents
yeah,
us.
and he's doing for the federal government.
Yeah,
All right,
yes.
same with the federal governor, the federal republic governor, because the United States of America ain't a republic or a democracy. It's a federal republic. We already broke that story. This is the No Face Movement. Moving to next time. Please rate, subscribe, comment. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Blogspot. Follow me also on Mystiques and Astrology and Astronomy. Subscribe to them. Those are my backup channel. If anything happens here, and remember, folks, it's just a start. We're about to see curfews and all this stuff here too in Detroit, because we're pretty deep, and there already been federal financial advisory here for like 6 or 7 months that Mystique broke and brought to my attention, and they caused us deeper into debt, and our own state owes us money. This is the movement. Till next time, be safe, be ready, and fight for your rights and your freedom.